The costs of moving to a cheaper suburb. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian here, and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. I thought we'd check out this article, which is looking at the costs associated with moving to a cheaper suburb, because one of the issues, one of the suggestions that many people make, myself included, is finding somewhere cheaper to live if you can't afford the suburb or the area that you want. Maybe you need to move. But let's have a look at this, because Belinda on Yahoo Finance has put an interesting article together about, well, there are costs with moving further out. So, if you want to buy a home, stop looking at the inner city and go to the fringes. That's the advice peddled by many, or too many, prospective Aussie buyers. But the reality is that the cost of owning a home anywhere is rising. New research from Great Sunnybank found Melbourne two-bedroom home owners, that'd just be a unit, wouldn't it? I know for forking up to $11,500 more than their inner city counterparts living in apartments, because there's a price to pay for commuting and running a bigger household. That jumps to $16,000. I'm assuming, is that per annum or just the whole cost for a three-bedroom house, which equates to $80,000 over the first 5 years of ownership. Okay, per annum. So Melbourne couple Kayla Cree and Stacey Hope bought a three-bedroom house in the outer suburbs of Melbourne. They spent 3 years and $60,000 building their family, but after the financial commitment to IVF to bring twins Siggy and Scout into the world, the duo didn't anticipate they'd be able to crack into the property ladder for several years. That is until a lifeline was handed to them from an unlikely source, TikTok. They hadn't realized they were eligible for the first home guarantee, which meant they only needed a 5% deposit and didn't need to fork out for lender's mortgage insurance. So this is one of the couples that got in due to government stimulus. Along with 60 grand to have kids? I mean, damn. Along with taking advantage of the stamp duty concessions, and the savings were upwards of 46 grand, and they could start thinking about buying considerably sooner. We always thought it was having a kid or the house. We have the money sitting there, but being a same-sex couple, we have no other options but IVF, and it took us 3 years. I went into that at 26, not realizing that 3 years later, I'd be having failed transfers. Oh, okay. I mean, IVF is not as easy as anyone tells you. There's a whole lot of complexity and issues with it. It's not foolproof. This is one of the sad things, is all the young women are putting their career first, freezing their eggs, thinking they can just, it's instant. It's not, guys. Look into it. Buying a house was always on our table, but it wasn't. But if it wasn't for the grants, it would have taken us 5 or 6 years to save a deposit. The 32-year-old property manager and a young family have been renting in Trangania, just 20 kilometres west of Melbourne CBD. With the cost of living pressures, we didn't have extra money to be looking in the city, she said. The couple wanted a backyard for the kids to play in. The new builds they looked at were small, while all the homes needed a lot of renovation, which they didn't have the money to sink into. Luckily, they had built a great relationship with their landlord after looking around and realised where they were living was perfect and asked if he wanted to sell. They saved moving costs by buying a home they were renting for 570 grand, considerably lower than the 650 median house value in the area, meeting their goal of staying below 600 grand. Okay, so sounds like they found a perfect opportunity. So, cost of living crunch is hard in the outer fringe. The Melbourne parents were well established in the area, with friends nearby and Hope's job around the corner. But her work involved many hours on the road and a day in the city office at least once a week. Okay, so what? That's just part of life. The combined costs of petrol and daycare soon added up. I mean, here's the thing. Daycare used to be a last resort. And I'm watching some YouTubers now where are critical of daycare. Going, you don't need it. You don't need the socialization for a child under 3 years old. They don't play together. They play adjacent. A baby needs the mother. They need the mother. They don't even care about the dad up until they get older. They need the mum. That's not going to change. Maybe that's what the priority should be. I leave the house at 7 and drop the kids at childcare and don't get home until 6:30. I'm hoping their kids are not there for that time. I'm hoping the other mother goes and grabs the kids earlier, because a whole day of childcare, it's not ideal. It's sad that we've gotten to this point. I'm lucky to have a flexible job in that sense because I can work from the road 4 days a week. But I've been on the road the last 2 days and almost gone through a whole tank of petrol, which is $120. That's a cost of business, isn't it? Just an expense. Who cares? Claim it. Write it off as part of your work. If you're going to do that every day of the week, going to the city, there's no way it's feasible. Yeah, so get another job. Childcare 5 days a week for the twin is $550 with a current rebate. 5 days a week. What? They spend 60 grand to have kids. Then they put them in childcare 5 days a week to let other people raise them. I mean, really, you need to weigh up if it's worth one of your workings. Why don't you stay home? Okay, spend time with your children. Oh, boy. But since the new rebate came in, I'm actually paying more because the daycare increased their fees. I was better off 3 months ago, she said. A couple committed to a variable loan since purchasing at the end of March. Their mortgage repayments have increased by $300 a month. It sounds like it's all just... I mean, here's the thing. People think putting their kids in daycare is normal. It's not. It used to be a last resort. Okay? This is a two-parent household. They should be able to afford, hopefully, to keep one at home to raise the kids, at least for the first few years, and the other one works. That's what you traditionally do. That's what we used to be able to afford to do here in Australia. But when you're paying this much, $550 a week, and then petrol, is it worth it? How much are you earning? You've got to be earning good money to make that worth it. And you're not seeing your kids. Other people are raising your children. Her family has felt the financial pinch, but being mindful about spending, opting for bulk shops, that's smart. Reduce costs by renegotiating insurance and internet. I mean, what can you do? You just reduce the speed on your internet, but sure, it's a saving. I'm trying to save money where I can because I'm worried. We don't know what the future holds. And as the kids get older and want to do more activities, eat more, plus daycare, it adds up. It's the daycare that's burning your money. That's what it is. You may reevaluate your whole life. I remember because we brought our eldest daughter to work. She was running around the office as a kid, and there was a little daycare center up the road. And we checked it out to look at... Oh, hang on. Rachel's calling me. Okay, I better hurry up. Got to finish the video. We checked it out, and just the propaganda rubbish on the walls was all internal. You're going to have a better time at home. Our mortgage repayments and the kids' daycare is my entire wage gone. That means we're essentially on one wage once we get into electricity, food, clothes, activities. I don't know how people on one wage are doing it. Uprooting and moving to the city or taking a job closer to home would have their own challenges. She said in her experiences, jobs don't pay as well in the outer suburbs. But if she had to make the journey into the city 5 days a week, she'd take a pay cut given the time and money it costs to commute. But as more people look to the fringe suburbs to take advantage of the space, the cost of real estate has increased too. The median value of a home in Melbourne is $776,000. And nationally, yeah, we know that. We know prices have gone up. So many people are moving out wider. There's so much competition, it's definitely not just the city feeling it. I've still got rates and bills to pay. I mean, it sounds like she's just dealing with being an adult and a parent. That's part of life. Running a two-bedroom apartment in the Sydney inner city can be up to 38% cheaper than a three-bedroom house in a growth area in Melbourne's fringe, according to the research report by Urban and Public Policy Advisory Group SGS Economics and Planning. While home buyers are often attracted to the affordable purchase price of homes in outer growth suburbs compared to inner city, this research highlights the importance of weighing up the long-term costs against the potential upfront savings. Great Southern Bank Chief Customer Megan Keller said. So, what's driving the costs? Transport. City dwellers largely have to travel shorter distances, whether that be behind the wheel, themselves, or on public, where the costs of parking and maintaining a car in addition. Okay, you got more costs. So, outer suburb. What the? $23,000. Shit, I'm so happy I work from home now. Oh boy. Household costs, inner city average 200, yeah, middle average 500. Yeah, house is always going to cost more. Mortgages 34 grand, 35 grand. It's the transport costs. It's the transport costs and it's childcare. Well, let's have a bit of a chat about this one. I think the reality is this family in particular have to decide if it's worth it. If it's worth paying other people to raise your kids 5 days a week. That's, you can make lifestyle changes. We're in the homeschooling community. There are a lot of people that have, one partner, usually the mother, stereotypically, staying home, educating the kids, and the dad is out working. But you make lifestyle changes and choices. What do you reckon, guys? What would you do? Do you think it's worth it? I think you'd have to make some significant lifestyle changes to really make it worth it. Otherwise, you're just bloody well running around to pay other people to take care of your kids and, fighting the bank to keep your house. Kind of, are you getting ahead? Kind of sucks. Anyway, let me know your thoughts and opinions on this one, guys. Check out HeiseBim or Heiser Does. And if you're a fan and want to support us, you can on YouTube or Patreon. Use our referral links, buy Pocket Squares, or call me if you need an architect. Take care. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.